nation together. Oh, yeah, so much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show.
Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell says CARIFESTA has uncovered the enormous potential for trade within the Caribbean. The Grenadian leader, who visited several of the booths and displays at the festival over the weekend, was impressed with the variety of products and services being marketed not only to the other Caribbean islands but potential international clients. He commended Prime Minister Mia Mottley and her team for organizing the
Welcome to the hub. Again, we have a unique moment in time to deliberate, to talk using technology, social media, and the radio. My name is Kem Jones, and again, it is a pleasure for me to go on that journey with you so we can learn in the process. And we started off tonight with that piece of video playing before its time. And even a photo was featured before its time. But nevertheless, we have to continue the journey. I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. So this morning, I spoke to you about this whole strategy on the part of the NNP to inculcate this idea that NNP left this amount of money back in the Treasury, and it's like a favor they did Grenada. So I told you that the NDC between 1990 and 1990 and 1990, right? So between 1990 and 1995, they left Grenada in a credit-worthy state. The NNP came in because the first NNP left Grenada in a lot of debts, plenty debt. NDC came into power in 1990, and they implemented a structural adjustment program. Grenadians had to band their belly and make the tough sacrifice. We were able to break down the debt to about $340 million. So we were able to pay the debts and bring it down to as low as that. When the NNP came into power, they went on a borrowing spree. They borrowed left, right, and center for all kinds of stuff. They gave all kinds of guarantees. The NNP administration gave all kinds of guarantees to conmen and crooks. Taxpayers' money had to pay it back. So our debt skyrocketed, went up to $1 billion. The NDC came into power in 2008, and the Treasury was empty. It was empty because in the lead up to the election, the NNP administration went on a spending spree. They just wanted to make sure that the government that comes after will find it very difficult to do things, to get off the ground, to get started. So they spend every last cent in the Treasury. The NDC came into power, they had some challenges, and they were undermined, infiltrated. And then you saw division, infighting, and problems. And who were the beneficiaries of that? Well, you saw when the election came. Then the NNP came back into power, and they told the Grenadian people, well, there was no money in the Treasury, and they left the Treasury empty and all kind of problems. Then they introduced a structural adjustment program on the Grenadian people. They won the election in 2013, they won the election in 2018, and then the election of 2022, they lost. But they never thought that they were going to lose. They thought that they were going back into power like the government of Guyana. I understand that the current government will return. All right? So they thought that they were going back in power the next day after the election. Some of them left their jackets and everything in their office. They never cleared their office. They were so comfortable. So they never went on a serious spending spree in the lead up to the general election. Yes, they spent about $50-something million in the late rounds when they realized things are looking good for them. On little projects, like a drains, a little piece of road, things like that for their boys, for their supporters. That's the NNP administration. But the election came and they lost. Remember, we had a structural adjustment program. It's not like Grenadians were not making sacrifice and so on, No. Remember, a lot of those unions and their workers never got any increase, and they had to be fighting for years. Nothing was coming their way, but they were making sacrifice. So the government was stockpiling the money because they thought they were coming back into power, or else they would have spent all the money, empty the Treasury. But God had it that they thought they were coming back into power, but they lost. And there was a certain amount of money left in the Treasury. But that's not NNP money, that's taxpayers' money. And any government who comes into power and remains there for so long should at least have money saved, money left back, so another government could continue developing Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Simple. So when the NDC came into power, they were able to pay the retired public officers who couldn't get their pension under the NNP. Because again, the NNP was saying they have structural adjustment, things are hard, things are tough, but they had the money piling up. And they never paid public officers who retired their pension and their gratuity. But the NDC did $75.1 million. Just like that. Just like that. The NDC came into power and they rolled out the CES program, giving 500 or so small businesses up to $30,000. right? So that's about $15 million back in the hands of small and medium-sized businesses. Then they also gave the public officers, teachers, police officers, nurses, public officers generally, they gave them an increase in their salary, a 13% increase in their salary, 4%, 4%, and 5%. So that again pumped millions of dollars in the hands of public officers, in the hands of Grenadians. They had to complete the Molyneux Road project that the NNP failed to complete. And that project demanded a lot of resources. They had to complete the Monkuma Road and other projects that the NNP left, capital projects that the NNP left undone, either in the pipeline or they started it. So it required a lot of resources to complete these projects, but the NDC completed them. And there are quite a number of other initiatives that the NDC started, pioneered, initiated. So the NNP is out there now talking about how much money they left in the Treasury. In fact, when I spoke about that this morning, the NNP posted on their page something regarding what I spoke about, right? And I know they're listening, and I know they're scared. So they posted something on their page, and quite a number of people started laughing. They posted in 2022, the NDC inherited Grenada's strongest economy ever, 500 million in reserves. No government in our history has ever come into office and had so much money in the Treasury. In just 3 years, they have squandered it. Today, we are seeing little development, a growing deficit, rising debt, and a shrinking economy. I mean, NNP lying to themselves, and they know they're lying, but they have no problem with that. They're lying to themselves. So they posted all this nonsense on their page, and they know it's lies. Our economy continues to grow. You have so many developments taking place in the country, and the debt continues to shrink, continues to reduce. The economy is growing and growing very nicely. But the NNP will put up all these things on their page, and people will not even bother with them. People not even studying them. And they know that. They know that. But I am saying all Grenadian people are seeing what the NDC is doing with the resources of the state. It's not something that they have to guess. Look at the amount of roads they continue to build, the amount of drains they continue to construct, the amount of schools they continue to build, the amount of police stations. Right now, they're going to do the Grenville police station. So they did the police headquarters. They gave the police officers an increase in their salary. They finally got pay and grade. The ordinary constable received $700 more on his salary. And mind you, it's retroactive for some of them. So the government continues to pump that money back into the economy. So the Grenville police station very soon will be under construction. They only recently did a tour, our beloved Prime Minister did a tour of the temporary building that they're going in. All right. Did a tour of that. I saw it somewhere, Did a tour of the building in Grenville. And that was really good. They're going to a temporary space so that the construction of the Grenville police station can take place. I saw it somewhere on, so it's a reel, very short reel on Facebook. So very soon, the Grenville police station will be constructed. NNP never saw the need to construct a new police station in Grenville. That building has been there since in, I don't know when, Gary days, maybe even before that, colonial times. So the NNP never saw that as important. So our beloved Prime Minister told that facility, the temporary facility, it looks like this. Right, so that was the old MNIB building. So they're now going to utilize. So they're going to utilize that building for the temporary Grenville police station, while the Grenville police station is being refurbished, modernized, and in some instances, they have to build it more or less from scratch. Many people will tell you that. It is so outdated and run down. So it took the NDC again to build the police headquarters on the Carenage, right? To hand that facility to them, because it was an existing building, but they modernize it, they refurbish it, they fix it. But it took the NDC to do that. The NDC also refurbished the St. Paul's police station. The NDC also refurbished and modernized the Hillsborough police station, the Sates police station. The Grove police station got some work done there too. So the NDC is serious about making sure that the police has somewhere good to work, to execute their duties. And then you look at the pay and grade that I spoke about earlier. You look at medical stations, a number of the medical stations. They have been refurbished. They have been upgraded. The nurses, they're getting $500 more on their salary. The doctors are getting $1,000 more on their salary. The kitchen in the hospital, well, there was no kitchen before. That was closed down. So they handed them a modern kitchen facility with equipment to prepare healthy meals for patients. So you can look around and you will see there are 3 new schools being constructed. The St. David Catholic Secondary School, St. Andrew Anglican Primary School, the Grenada Christian Academy. Then you have the Calais Government School expansion, $3.5 million. Well, the St. David's Catholic Secondary, $40.6 million or so. The St. Andrew Anglican Primary, 37 point something million. The Grenada Christian Academy, I think it's about 40 million, somewhere along that line. So a lot of money is being pumped back into the economy. And then you have many houses being built for people, many modern bathroom and toilet facilities being constructed for people. the minimum wage, again, cause government to be spending more for salaries for, the lower grade of workers. So we know where the money is going. We know, and we have seen it. You look at agriculture, the amount of work that is being done there in agriculture, the amount of assistance given to farmers and fishers. So we know, and remember, the burial support and so on, the government pumped money from the Treasury to support farmers, to support fishers, to support businesses and so on. It's not just the $118 million that they collected from the CRIF insurance. Because remember, Grenlec had to get their portion because they were insured. Nawasa had to get their portion. They were insured. GCNA and Cocoa Association, I think, they had to get their portion too. And then you have damages of $500 million and more, but you hear the NNP bumping their gum and you just have to laugh. So we know what the government is doing with the resources, and Grenadians are happier. The free tuition support, government has to find the money to pay that to NULO and to TAMCC. So not because it's free, it means that somebody not paying or government is paying. The free hot meal program, government is paying. And quite a number of other initiatives. So we know where the money is going. That is why Grenadians are embracing the NDC more and more. All right? I want to big up the Honorable Tevin Andrews for setting up that play area in PT Martinique for the kids.
I'm telling you, all work and no play, me say, no way. We don't want no patatas, I need a chest.
Right? So there's a play area in PT Martinique. So big up your whole self, the Honorable Tevin Andrews. Big up your whole self. Grenada was showcased at Carifesta 15, and our beloved Prime Minister had the opportunity to tour the booths and comment.
Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell says Carifesta has uncovered the enormous potential for trade within the Caribbean. The Grenadian leader, who visited several of the booths and displays at the festival over the weekend, was impressed with the variety of products and services being marketed not only to the other Caribbean islands but potential international clients. He commended Prime Minister Mia Mottley and her team for organizing the 2025 festival with such vision.
There's a lot of energy, a lot of creativity, and really unity. I think we got boots from all over the Caribbean, and it's showcasing the amazing talent, the creativity, the hard work, the culture, the business acumen, the entrepreneurship. And I think it's bringing all of us together. It shows that there's, I think, enormous potential for trade, for us to buy and support a lot of our local businessmen, women, entrepreneurs. And I'm hoping that coming out of this Carifest, that not only that we have it every year in a different island, but that we can then generate trade, intra-Caribbean trade amongst people, because people see what is being made, what people are doing, and I think it's key for us to know that, because sometimes we assume the Caribbean doesn't have stuff, or we can't get clothes or shoes, or rum or candles, or straw hats or fans, and we have it all there. So I'm really, really impressed, and I'm happy that so many vendors have been able to be accommodated at the market.
He is optimistic that going forward, small and large businesses from Grenada and other regions will reap the rewards of Carifesta. The festival, he said, also augurs well for regional integration.
And it says that the work is of high quality. I think we have to help them make sure that they can get their products to the market, because it's clear that when people see whether it's the rum, whether it's the candles, whether it's the agro-processed stuff, that it's selling quickly. And I think that augurs well for small manufacturers in Grenada. Regional integration, regional trade, regional business, because people have to move, goods have to move, services have to move. And the more that happens, is the more there's a resilience in our economic space. And the more that we keep the money circulating within our own economies rather than sending it outside of Grenada.
Culture and Tourism Minister Honorable Adrian Thomas is pleased with the show of Caribbean unity at the 2025 festival.
And what I've seen here in terms of creativity is so fantastic. I mean, the amount of young people I'm seeing here engaged in the development of a artisan, in craft, in clothing, the food. I mean, everything is just spectacular, and I'm very happy that I came, and Grenada is able to participate well. We are already integrated on that front, and it's just for CARICOM now to give people free movements so that you can go in any one of the islands and set up your business, establish contacts, gain clientele, and enjoy prosperity in the true form.
CARIFESTA 15 concluded on Sunday, August 31st in Barbados.
Yes, so again, big up your whole self. The most honorable Deacon Mitchell, a very simple, down-to-earth individual, humble, him wearing his straw hat there. It's just a different type of governance, a different type of leader. He's different from what we had for all the years in Grenada. Things are looking up and up and up. So thumbs up, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you. Some young men and women benefited from some training in Carriacou recently.
Over 20 young participants from mainland Grenada and Carriacou and Petite Martinique are now more equipped for careers in sea following a one-week Standards of Training Certification and Watchkeeping, also known as STCW, course. The training, organized by the Division of Youth, provided participants with essential knowledge and a certification for the future. This is the fourth in a series of training in the area on the island. Trainer George Alexis noted the high level of interest from the trainees and wished them well as they use their new knowledge and exposure to sustain their livelihoods.
This last week was extremely interesting because this class in particular was very challenging. In a good way, in a good way. The questions, the interest, and the learning was on both sides. We are happy to be part of this program. When it started, it was not, at that time, there was no plan to extend like this. I happened to be here doing something for somebody else, and it's morphed into this. Now we are part of it, and it promises very well.
Permanent Secretary Linwal Parrott commended the participants for taking the opportunity to learn a valuable skill and pledged the ministry's commitment to support initiatives that equip youth on the island with life-changing skills and knowledge.
I hope that you use this platform to really elevate and get into areas that you have been training. When it comes to the marine world, there are a lot of opportunities. As a matter of fact, we had a visit from a group from the Prime Minister's office about a month ago, and they want to concentrate on marine, agriculture, youth, and I think it's technology. That's where they want to concentrate on starting from this budget cycle coming up. So I want you to avail yourself of every opportunity and train yourself, prepare yourself. So we stand ready as a ministry to support in any way possible our youth, male or female, in sports, in training, capacity development. This is the fourth training. I think I was here for the one before, so I was not part of the first two, but I'm here for this last two that went. And I'm sure it wouldn't be the last.
Right, so that's very good. Very, very good indeed. Folks, again, it is very clear that the Grenadian people have turned their backs on the NNP. Don't matter what poll they do, you realize Grenadians are openly expressing themselves and showing their support behind the NDC. Because some people don't understand the politics. Grenadians historically vote for leaders, not the member of parliament. So the member of parliament in many of these constituencies will get either a boost from their leader or they would get a kick down from their leader. And we are seeing with the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, his MPs continue to get a boost. They continue to be supported. And the people love that. So they are supporting the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. And as a result, many of these MPs will be supported likewise. So all these different polls and all these different things that are happening, you realize NDC is topping it. Don't matter in what constituency. And let me say this, some 92,000 people or so have registered or are registered to vote in the next election. That number may increase by 2,000 between now and the next election, or maybe 1,500. But you're looking at Grenada with a population of 110,000 people. And 92,000 people, or almost 92,000 people, are registered to vote. It says one thing. We have a lot of registered Grenadians who are living in the diaspora. And that is how important the diaspora is come the next election. You have to be here. You have to vote. But first, you must be registered. So those who are registered as part of that 91,000 or 92,000 people, you have to be here in advance so that you can vote to keep the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team in power, together with the people who are here. Because it's not like those who are here are more than you. You are registered. You're equal in terms of vote to the people who are here. Because many people were here, they registered, they were working or they were living here, but they got the opportunity to travel to greener pastures, to build themselves and their family. But you are a Grenadian. Don't matter where you go, you are a Grenadian. So I want to encourage you to organize for that day. When the election is called, I want you to make it a patriotic duty to return home and vote. And vote in your numbers. Go early to the polling station. And of course, we will mobilize and organize to make sure that you are here, because the next election will be a movie, a real movie. Because remember, some of these constituencies, they were won marginally. For example, if you look at Just as an example, if you look at Kate Lewis constituency, just as an example, all right, I have it somewhere here. Just as an example, if you look at some of these constituencies, you would realize that, let me see. I have it somewhere around the place. All right. So if you look at some of the constituencies, you don't need much between now and the election to get rid of some of those MPs, to defeat them at the polls, because it was not much they won by. And that is what is important. So all you need is couple, let's say 100, 200 people, and that would be it come the election. All right. So let me say to you, on election day, just a little info. On election day, we had 87,566 people being eligible to vote. So we have seen almost 5,000 people added to the voters list. And that's a significant amount in any scheme of things. You normally don't see that. So you're looking at 5,000 more people added to the electoral list. By the time the election, it would be about 7,000 more people added to the list from election time to now. And that could mean a lot of things, right? And it can cause a lot of seats to switch, to flip. Thankfully, the NDC has been working consistently to get our people registered. And there are people who were registered the last election and they didn't get the chance to vote. But this time around, they will vote in the election. And I meet them regularly. They will tell you that they were registered, but they never got the chance to vote, or they never voted. So in the last election in Carriacou, for example, 150 votes. So making sure that we add to that number, making sure that our brothers and sisters, because we have a lot of people from Carriacou who are living in the United States, who are living in Canada, who are living in the United Kingdom. So they visit, they come back home from time to time. So getting registered is key. And we know a great number of them got registered already. But that is key in maintaining the victory. All right? So you look at St. Andrew Southeast. Think the Emlyn Pay won that seat by, let me see, it was not much, Emlyn Pay won that seat by, let me get it for you. All right, so Emlyn Pay got 1,893 votes, and David Andrew got 1,660 votes. So Emlyn Pay won that seat by just 233. So just imagine, out of that 7,000 or so people who will be registered, let's assume 400 more or 500 more is registered in that constituency. Some people died on both parties, NNP and NDC. Some people died, but at the end of it all, once we can mobilize 300 people to register and to organize themselves come the election, once we can keep what we have or what we got and add 300 more, Emlyn Pair will be history. This is as simple as it is. Very, very simple. These things are not complicated. So the people in the diaspora, your role is key. Very, very important. Your role. St. Andrew Northeast, for example, it was Kate Lewis versus Tessa Sincere. So Kate Lewis received 2,190 votes. Tessa Sincere received 1,864 votes, a difference of 326. So don't believe that these seats are so difficult to flip. They're not. With a popular prime minister, a government that's performing, and with the NDC controlling the diaspora support, people in the diaspora support the NDC, support the government. And then you have the younger set of people moving away from the NNP altogether. So it's a better environment for the NDC at the polls. So the NDC stands a better chance come the next election. You look at the Tongue of St. George, for example, right? Tongue of St. George, Tongue of St. George, that seat, Peter David won by not so much, all right? He won by how much? 200 and something. So the Peter David received, and these are small amounts of votes. Peter David got 1,329 votes. And remember, he ran under the NNP ticket. If he runs again, he's running under some other party, right? I don't know if it's the movement or whatever name. So he's not getting the NNP block of votes. He's not getting the NDC block of votes. Of course, he would get some personal votes, but it would never be enough to cross the line. But the Honorable Claudia Joseph, she has shown that she can add more and more support and votes. Because when she ran against him in 2018, she got a good licking. She lost by 826 votes. But when she ran against him in 2022, that's the next election that followed, she lost by 211. So she gained significant grounds. She make up significant grounds. And she continues to do that. So come the next election, because where you saw growth was on the NDC side, not on the NNP side. So that seat again is a seat that you need to watch out for come the next election. But it's not a hard seat to win. It's a very easy seat to win. That's the NDC. The NDC could win that seat come the next election. So you look at these constituencies and you realize they are not too difficult a constituency to win. With the right team, the right focus projects and initiatives over the period, it can be easy like 1 to 3, right? So we have to continue on that path. So you realize no matter what the NNP does, people are not gravitating towards them. Folks in the diaspora, when they come or when they go to the diaspora to have events, they're all they're bossing. People not supporting them. People who want to see them. Because Grenadians turned the page on NNP. And that happened to the NDC at a point. That's the old NDC. When the NNP won back to back, they just turned the page on that set of politicians in the NDC. It's the same thing that's happening with the NNP. the Grenadian people turn the page on this set of politicians in the NNP. And it will be so for quite a while. It will be so for quite a while. So we have to continue registration. We have to continue that process. Once you visit Grenada, you love what's happening, you love your prime minister, you love the team, register. So come the next election, you can vote and you can support the NDC and you can support the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. That's the whole strategy, because NDC has to be there for the next 15 to 20 years to really see significant transformation or development in the country. Yes, development is taking place. Yes, transformation is taking place. But for the next election and the next one and the next one, we have to make sure that NDC remains in power. But we have to register and we have to support them in every way that we can, because the next election will be like a movie. It will be huge. Because NNP is a laughing stock. People are not worrying about NNP anymore. You don't even hear people talking about Emlyn Pay. People are not even talking about her. You hear people talking about Keith Mitchell in a bad way more than you hear people talking about Emlyn Pay. So while she says she's the leader of the NNP, you're not hearing many people talking about her. She's more or less, unwanted. People don't want her. They don't see her as a person who can take Grenada to the next level. She doesn't have what it takes. She doesn't possess the leadership qualities required to move this country forward. She's been there for so long. She's not new. She has been there for a lot of years. She has nothing new to offer the Grenadian people. That is why a friend called her Miss Concern. Every time she speaks, I am very concerned, and I'm very concerned. They call her Miss Concern. A young man came by me. He said, "Oh, Miss Concern?" So who is that? He said, Emlyn Pay. He said, young people calling her Miss Concern. Every time she speaks, she says so over and over again. So that name stuck with her, Miss Concern. So Grenadians are serious about the transformation of this country. And when I travel throughout Grenada, Carrick, and Petit Martinique, I get the feel. Because I could tell you, when NDC lost in 2018, when I went around, I got the feel that people didn't want the slate or the cadre or the team of people at the time that the NDC was putting forward. I got that feel going around as I engage people, as I travel around Grenada. Because really and truly, people see me as the face, right? Because I'm the one out there fighting that good fight day and night. So people will quicker come to me or say some things to me than they would say to other people. And I would get the feel as to what's going down as I travel around. And that is why it motivated me to come up with Youth for Change. You remember when I put a team of young people together and we decided we were not waiting for NDC to go there and speak to the people, because the people already rejected them and the people spoke loud and clear that they don't want them. the cadre of people who were there, who are putting themselves up again to run. So based on that, and based on a poll that we did, we knew that the Grenadian people wanted something fresh, wanted a new team of people to come forward, untainted, unspoiled, different. And Youth for Change came on the scene. We had a number of meetings. We engaged key people. And we were able to engage some of the folks who wanted to put up themselves again to run, persuading them not to do so. Let the fresh new team come forward. So we have been here strategically so, doing what we must do to secure victory. And come the next election, a similar thing would happen, but in a different way, where we will mobilize and organize our people in the diaspora. That's key. So yes, the folks here in Grenada, they would go out and vote. We're going to make sure that they do so. But we will spend extra time organizing, mobilizing our brothers and sisters who are registered and in the diaspora to come home and vote, to come home and participate in the next election. Because we believe that the diaspora will play a key role in the upcoming general election. So the minute time you hear the date announced, and of course, you will get advanced warning. It's not going to be today for today or today for next week. No. You're going to get advanced notice so you can plan, so you can organize, so you can come back home and vote. There will be chartered flights. There will be additional flights coming to Grenada from the United States, from Canada, from the United Kingdom. So have no fear. Have no fear. We will mobilize. In fact, all now, you should be organizing, saving your liquor money, piece by piece every month. So when the election time comes, you could jump a plane and come back home. That's key. If you do that all now, by the time election, you will be already on your way, or you would have enough money to come back home and vote and go back. So it's a good opportunity for you all now to start saving your liquor money for the purpose of coming back home and vote. So once the bell is rung, you will know. You will know. So have no fear. When it's rang and, you have to mobilize. Because I know, for example, the folks in the United States, they don't like to be out for more than 7 days. Folks in Canada might have a little more leeway. The United Kingdom, I don't know how it operates, but generally speaking, there's a certain time frame because you have to go back to work and that kind of thing. So again, you have to start saving. You have to start putting a little cash away just for the purpose of coming back home and vote. We have to be that serious about Grenada, making sure that the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team remain in power. All right? So folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful night. I will be back with you tomorrow, God's willing, starting from 8 in the a.m. to continue that journey. Bye for now. Bye for now.